Boy, I would hate to follow last week's episode.
I knew you were going to be a little twat about this.
Oh man, how are you going to follow that? It's like Creed following the Beatles. When arms wide open. I loved how much y'all loved last week's episode.
I mean, loud and clear. I actually really don't want to follow it. Rebecca's just trying to bump me off my Natasha Ryan pedestal. That one was killing it before your shenanigans.
That's right. So I know y'all are all on college text with your high school friends, college friends, real world friends, whoever. I need y'all to go ahead and send our podcast to them. Let's continue to spread the word because my God, we've got to be making money soon.
Wow. Yeah. Loud and clear. And that made me question my next story because I have two options that I really want to do. They're both crazy. One is more on the investigative side, not Paul Franziak crazy, but crazy. The other one, the actual story, is bat shit. I don't know which one because God, after that, I think I'm into the investigation too, y'all. I mean, I hear
I think that story had it all. It had both.
That's true. All right, so we're gonna do Patreon shout outs at the end.
We also got a review, a very nice one that said she loved us everything, but wished that we would timestamp when the story starts because I understand some people are at work and they have minimal time to listen to a podcast and you just need to get to the story. So we are going to start doing that. We'll include it in the description of each episode. Like Paul Franziak's, I put it in there.
Oh, okay.
If you didn't notice.
That is a good shout. I wish podcasts, especially with like 40-minute intros, would do that.
Yeah.
Because I actually did see that and I looked at my last one and I was like, okay, that one's going to be at 2 minutes and 20 seconds.
Right.
But it's okay. I like that. No, good idea.
Yeah. I think the Paul Franziak one, it starts like minute 3 or something.
Yeah.
Then I'm like,
that's fine.
But I get it. Every minute counts.
All right. I'm going to tell Rebecca and all of y'all about Jamie Faith. Sources: the Oak Cliff Advocate magazine, which is where the story takes place, the Case Files, NBCnews.com, ABC News, CBS News, and Court Junkie, which is a podcast that plays the trial.
Oh.
No. Court Junkie, not Crime Junkie. Court Junkie. It's oh my gosh.
It just plays the trial?
Yeah, the host will come in and further explain something every once in a while, but it plays the footage of the trial, the audio of the trial. I was like, that's helpful. So
that is
who knew? What up, Court Junkie? 34-year-old Jamie Faith was an IT director at US Airways in Phoenix and was a self-proclaimed bachelor. He never wanted to get married, never wanted kids, didn't really ever see himself even in a serious relationship. He was just like, I'm going to fly solo.
Oh, okay.
But that all changed in 2005 when he met 33-year-old Jennifer on a blind date. Jennifer was a speech therapist and a single mom to an 8-year-old daughter named Amber. She and Jamie really hit it off and became inseparable. In 2012, Jamie and Jennifer got married in Las Vegas, and he even legally adopted Amber.
Oh, he really changed his ways.
Full 180.
Yeah.
Jamie was very well liked. People said he was smart, quirky, overall just a great guy. In 2017, when American Airlines bought out US Airways, he got a promotion and they moved to Dallas, like a little neighborhood outside Dallas called Oak Cliff. Hence the magazine, the Oak Cliff Advocate magazine and the source. I got a lot from them. Things were great. They had a lot of friends. They were social. Jennifer's daughter, Amber, loved Jamie. Life's just good. On March 17th, 2020, day one of lockdown, if you recall, Jennifer got a LinkedIn message from an old high school and college boyfriend named Darrin Lopez. The two of them hadn't spoken in almost 30 years, but they were pretty serious back in the day and even discussed getting married. But he joined the army and was deployed to South Korea, and she was still finishing college. So they ultimately broke up.
Yeah.
Darrin was in the Army Special Forces for 26 years and was deployed to Iraq 6 times. He earned a Purple Heart and a Bronze Star. In 2005, he sustained a head injury in combat when 2 trucks exploded using the same type of bombs as the Oklahoma City bombings in trucks. Of the 23 people there, 19 died, and Darrin was one of the 4 survivors.
Oh my God.
And that's insane.
Yeah.
He retired in Tennessee with his wife and 5 daughters 5.
Ooh.
But he and his wife recently separated and she took the kids. Then with COVID restrictions, he was very bored, felt very isolated and depressed. So he was like, meh, I'll reach out and see what she's up to.
Oh my God, your ex-wife has 5 kids during quarantine. Get out
I
of
know.
here.
I know. Darrin and Jennifer started emailing and catching up with each other. Eventually, they exchanged numbers. I'm
Mm,
sure you can guess they ended up having an emotional affair.
sure.
They text,
Cyber
call,
sex.
cyber sex. They text, call, email all day, every day, averaging 500 texts a day.
Oh my God.
500 texts a day. That's almost as much as us.
Yeah, probably. Oh my God. They were bored. That is boredom.
Or
No sourdough making for them.
no sourdough, no.
They're uninterested in TikTok
I was about
videos.
to say no TikTok trends, no learning dances,
Mm-mm.
just
Okay.
texting and emailing and
Okay.
calling when they could. They were professing their love for each other, called each other soulmates. But despite this, Darrin said he was not interested in breaking up a marriage.
Well, well, then stop texting, emailing, and you know.
I think it was more of a stance of like, don't leave your husband for me. We can just keep doing this. Like type of a I'll
Yeah.
share you
Right.
type thing.
That's nice.
You stay married to your well-liked husband.
Right.
Jennifer told him that she did not have qualms about it because she had a little secret about her uber well-liked, successful husband. Behind closed doors, he was a monster and routinely abused her, both physically and sexually. They hadn't had consensual sex in 4 years.
Oh shit.
The abuse only got worse in April 2020 when he went through her phone and found the messages from Darrin.
Oh yeah.
He would burn her, choke her, beat her up. During rape, would deprive her of air, which I couldn't get exactly what that meant. I think
Strangle.
putting a pillow over her face or strangling
Oh
her.
God.
They had a hot tub and
Deprive her of air. Just call it what
that
it is. The
well, I know
articles.
that was the court document, so I didn't know it didn't
Yeah.
go into specifics. I don't know. They had a hot tub and one night they were in there and he forced her to try to give oral sex underwater and which what? Next thing she knew, she woke up and he was performing CPR. She blacked out. She didn't remember any of it.
Ew. On so many levels, that's repulsive.
The worst of the worst is he had a disgusting, sketchy friend named Jeremy, and on a few occasions he had Jeremy join on the rape, like made her have
Uh-uh.
sex with him.
Oh my God.
Darrin is horrified and pissed. She sent him pictures of her bruises and burns, and every time Darrin begged her to go to the cops, but she said she didn't want her daughter to lose her dad and was worried it would make everything worse.
No, that dad is worth losing.
Finally, Darrin said he was contacting the authorities, and she said, if you do that, I'll deny everything and say everything is fine. Nothing will happen to him, and it will just make everything worse, which is a very real and sad fear for a lot of victims, unfortunately. Plus, he wasn't abusing Amber. She didn't even know this out of him. So I think that just helped her justify it, I guess. This really weighed on Darrin. He was stressed. He was not sleeping. He felt completely helpless since he lived in Tennessee, and this is in Dallas. So he asked if anyone else knew about this, someone in Dallas who could get over there at the drop of a hat if they needed to. And she said the only other person she's ever told was their friend Rob Schmidt. Darrin asked for Rob's contact information, which she did give him. He asked for Amber's too, and she said, hell no.
Amber's contact info?
Yeah, she's an adult at this point. She's like 18. She was born in
Okay.
98. Yeah, so she's an adult at this point, but yeah, she said, hell no. She did give him Rob Schmidt's email address. So they were emailing back and forth. Rob was able to remedy some of the situations, calm Jamie down. I think he's a mutual friend. Ultimately, his emails just filled Darrin in on abuse that Jennifer said wasn't happening. Rob was like, yes, it is. So it kind of just stressed him out more. So even with Jamie finding out about Jennifer and Darrin's relationship, they continued it, but Jennifer had to be a lot more careful. Apparently, they were not careful enough because Jamie texted Darrin telling him to stay away from his family and saying it's really cute that he thinks he can swoop in and protect her and all this stuff. As the months went on,
He's in the military, man. Watch out.
Yeah.
He can come in and protect her if need be.
Yeah. As the months went on, it would go in like lulls. If Jamie didn't find anything from Darrin, it was fine. When he did, he would reach out to Darrin directly. And it started getting really aggressive. At first, he was like, stay away from my family again. But then he was taunting him, telling him that he needed to stay away or Jennifer will pay the ultimate price and, quote, enjoy knowing you can't do a fucking thing about it.
Oof.
There were countless texts and emails like this. In early October 2020, Jamie told Darrin that he was planning a surprise for Jennifer for their 15th wedding anniversary on October 9th, and it involved a hot tub. Given the hot tub story he already knew, Darrin was confident he was going to kill her, whether on purpose or not. This would be it. On October 9th, 2020, Jennifer and Jamie took their dog on a walk at 7:30 a.m. when someone in a mask and hoodie ran up to them, shot Jamie 7 times, 3 times in the head, 3 times in the chest, once in the groin.
Oh.
He then punched Jennifer in the face, forced her on the ground, tried to take the rings off her fingers, but she was screaming, and by then a neighbor came out, so the guy jumped in a black truck and fled.
I have a feeling I know who that was.
Yeah. You just chill. Again, it's 7:30 in the morning, so people are up. Neighbors heard the gunshots, heard the screaming, so they were quick to call 911. Most of them had Ring cameras too, so they got a good shot of the truck, and it had a notable T sticker on the back window. Looked like a Texas Rangers T.
Mm-hmm.
I was on the driver's side. Jennifer's very shaken and shocked, and even though she doesn't tell police this, obviously she has an idea of who's behind it.
Sure.
So now she's in a pickle. On one hand, she's relieved that he's gone, her abuser.
Mm-hmm.
On the other hand, she doesn't want to come out with it because she doesn't want Darrin to get in trouble. So she carries on saying, like, she doesn't know who could have done this.
Yeah.
On December 4th, she goes on a local news station pleading for anyone to come forward, anyone who knows anything. Again, keeping the front.
Being like, please God, let it be someone else who did it.
Exactly, because she really didn't see him.
Yeah.
Because he was covered. But
yeah, please God, let this be a coincidence.
Yeah, exactly. During their investigation, they look at a few possibilities. Jamie had recently laid off people at American Airlines, so perhaps disgruntled employee. That doesn't really pan out. Mm-hmm. They always look at the spouse. So the day of the murder, they asked Jennifer for her phone, which she gladly gave to them. At first search, they didn't find anything damning since she routinely deleted all communication with Darrin from Jamie.
Mm-hmm.
However, they found a text that she sent one of her longtime friends, Tina, about Darrin and her emotional affair. So they're like, oh, well, let's look in her contacts for a Darrin.
Yeah.
So they found one, and that's how they got his last name. So they were like, let's look into this emotional affair dude. That's how they got him.
Mm-hmm.
They did a background check and found out he owned a black Nissan truck. So they did a flyover of his house in Tennessee and saw the black truck with a University of Tennessee T on the back window. It wasn't a Texas Rangers T. It's a Tennessee T.
Yeah.
On the driver's side. With this, they got a warrant to search Darrin's phone records and found thousands of text calls, emails between he and Jennifer. Mm-hmm. Among the ones that made their ears perk up was on December 3rd when Jennifer texted Darrin and wrote, so I woke up in a little bit of a panic. Something's eating away at me, telling me you need to take that sticker off the back window of your truck. And they're like, huh.
Wait, 2 months after the murder?
Mm-hmm. This begins their investigation into Jennifer for obstruction of justice, because even if she didn't know Darrin would do this, she is certainly helping him cover it up.
Yeah.
They continue going through the thousands of messages and see that on December 29th, Jennifer texted him starting with, okay, so life insurance. She goes on to tell him that she submitted the claim for Jamie's life insurance, which was $600,000 PS, and they can't process, but they told her they can't process it until the investigation's over. They looked at Darrin's debit card purchases, and he had used them along the way from his drive from Tennessee to Texas, like various gas stations. So and the surveillance at those gas stations just proved that he drove from just outside Nashville to Dallas.
Criminals are so stupid. This is 2020. It's not even 1980. There's surveillance everywhere. They will track you.
I know, but he, at this point, I don't think was trying to be careful because he was just going to explain the situation. Like, he was like, I knew I was going to get caught, but
okay. All right.
He was an abuser and a monster, and we had proof.
Yeah. We needed to off him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
On January 11th, 2021, Darrin is arrested for Jamie's murder. They found his gun, which is a .45 caliber handgun. That's the one that killed Jamie. Like, there's just no fighting it.
Yeah.
On February 24th, 2021, Jennifer was arrested for obstruction of justice for working with Darrin to cover it up. Mm-hmm. As they continued the investigation, they found the emails from Jamie to Darrin and between Rob and Darrin. They're like, oh, this changes things. Like, why wouldn't they tell us about this. Jamie
Yeah.
put the ultimate front of this nice, sort of nerdy guy, but behind the scenes, he's sadistic.
Mhm.
So they brought Rob in for questioning. They talked to him about the emails between he and Darren and the whole situation between Jennifer and Jamie. And Rob says, huh?
I knew it. I didn't even think Rob was a real guy. Okay. So that's
No, Rob's real.
yeah,
He never sent any emails to Darren. He had no idea what they were talking about.
I knew it.
So they sent the computer to the FBI, and it comes back that Jennifer was behind every single email from Jamie and Rob.
She's doing air quotes, people.
The abuse was complete bullshit.
Oh,
Jamie
Jamie
was
was
nice.
yeah, he was actually a little bit of a nerdy guy
I'm telling
who
you,
certainly didn't deserve to be gunned down because his wife's a wimp and wouldn't divorce him. Come on.
he's so nice.
Oh,
Like when
man.
you see his picture, you're like, no.
Oh, man.
The pictures she sent of her bruised and beaten up body were from a car wreck she was in a few years prior, and some of them were stock photos. Like she sent a close up of a bruised lip
With the watermark on it.
with Shutterstock just all
Yeah,
over it.
just all over it. I mean, like, can you believe this?
She sent a close up of a bruised lip, so he couldn't tell who it was, like that it was her or not. It was from Shutterstock actually.
Oh my God.
Hey, that's a really good picture. The light is immaculate.
You're right. At what point was she gonna, how far was she gonna let this go? At best, Darren was gonna call the police. And she said no. Like,
Well,
and
hold
then
on.
you keep going. And I mean, you pushed him to kill or asked
Yeah.
him to straight up.
Well,
Okay.
interesting. Even more than just lie about the abuse while posing as Jamie and Rob, she planted the seed that Jamie had to be dead in order for her to be saved. The fake Rob even encouraged Darren, saying, I'd give you an alibi, LOL,
All in writing.
all in writing.
Rob's like, no, I'm not an idiot.
There was a lot of other sketchy circumstances too. For example, on October 8th by 1:07 p.m., which is the day Darren started his drive to Texas, he and Jennifer had already texted 133 times.
Dude.
But by right after that, they didn't talk for 28 hours. Very unusual for them.
Yeah, sounds very out of character.
The communication picked back up, and through in between October 9th and November 25th, 2020, there were 24,000 text messages between them. I just
my
do y'all
God.
sleep?
They never speak on the phone. It's all through text and they do not sleep. That is insane.
On January 11th, 2021, the day Darren was arrested, Jennifer told him that she was going to do a factory reset on her phone before her scheduled interview with detectives. Just things like that. It ain't looking good.
No, it sure isn't.
So in October 2021, 7 months after being arrested for obstruction of justice, she's charged with murder for hire.
Yeah. Solicitation at its finest.
She got a plea deal and she pled guilty, admitted to everything. Jamie never abused her, admitted to posing as Jamie and Rob when emailing Darren to plant the seed in the head that he needed to save her, and the only way to do that was to kill Jamie. Using someone extremely vulnerable, Darren had a head injury, PTSD, fought in combat for years. She knew that if he was given a mission, he'd finish it, and she was sentenced to life in prison instead of the death penalty. That was part of her plea deal.
Mm-hmm.
Darren ended up pleading not guilty, and his case went to trial in July 2023. Again, in his mind, he was saving Jennifer and Amber.
Yeah.
That's why he wasn't careful. He made a point to keep his phone off. He said he used a paper map the entire time, but then he got really disoriented in Dallas. He said he didn't realize how big the city was, and that triggers him. That's a huge PTSD trigger.
Oh my God.
So he got really lost, and it was dark, and so he pulled over and he was like, I'm turning on my phone. I need my GPS. And he was like, I know I'm getting caught. But it doesn't matter because I'm saving the world from this monster.
Oh man.
I can't hate him. The trial is really, he is like,
oh God, stop. You're tearing out my heart.
Yeah. So he anticipated getting caught, but the truth would come out and he'd be fine. During trial, they go through every text, every email that cataloged the fake abuse, the emotional affair. If you thought it was all lovey-dovey, you're my soulmate type of stuff, you've got another thing going.
Oh shit.
Now, this is a text between Jennifer and Darren in November 2020. And let me first say, Dad, if you're listening, you've done your thing, you've supported, it's time to sign off.
Ew, I'm
Like, same for mother-in-laws, father-in-laws. Y'all did great. Thank you so much. And it ends,
bye-bye.
and the episode ends for you here.
Oh God, I'm nervous.
Darrin Lopez. Sorry. Darrin to Jennifer.
Oh.
Oh, I so need to fill you with hot cum. My sexy brat, I'll bend you over my lap and give you a quick spanking. Everyone in the courtroom lights up a cigarette. I need to fill you with hot cum. Do I need to read it again?
No,
No,
please
thank
don't.
you.
No, thank you.
Bold statement. What if you were like, hot?
Ew, what is the matter
No.
with you?
I actually feel really bad for Darren. He's obviously
He's
embarrassed.
trying
There's
so hard.
pages of this and they're reading it out loud and he's like visibly cringing.
Oh my God.
I feel
because you're
bad. I
talking-
just really wanted to see your face when I read those
Ew.
because they're in the court documents. I was like, come again?
the
Pun
dirty
intended.
talk.
The dirty talk is too much for
It's
me.
oh, he's trying so hard. She's like, talk dirty to me. He's like, I'm gonna fill you with hot cum. She's like, what the fuck
Sick.
is wrong with you? That's
No,
disgusting.
she said, ooh, I love that.
Ew.
That was
No,
her
she doesn't.
response.
And meanwhile, she's nauseous. She's
No,
like,
she's-
oh God.
She's got problems too. She probably loved it.
But he is not at fault here. I'm sorry. I'll say
They also
it.
dug into some sketchy ass behavior from Jennifer during trial. The
Sure.
day after,
like
the day
murdering-
after.
hiring someone to murder her husband. Sorry.
Oh, right. But no, this is for Darren's trial. So they're just like painting the picture of like, she's definitely behind this. The day after the murder, a friend of Jamie and Jennifer set up a GoFundMe for Jennifer to pay Jamie's funeral expenses, and it raised over $60,000. She ended up having 2 funerals for him, one in Phoenix, one in Dallas. Both seemed weird and very expensive. Like she had coasters and matchbooks as memorabilia and gave out party favors.
No.
What?
No.
Like coasters of like, I think of like pictures of him with his birthday and death date. Like, no, this is unnecessary.
no, it's not a
No one's keeping that.
right.
She also used those funds to bankroll Darren. She bought him a couple of flights for him and his daughters, like to go on trips. She bought him a big screen TV. She paid off some credit cards, which she then gave him access to. Yet she left an unpaid funeral bill of $6,500. So she just screwed over everyone who donated to that. She used it just to live life. GoFundMe ended up refunding everyone who
Good.
donated.
Good.
Good. And after only a 4-day trial and 4 hours of deliberation, Darren was found guilty of murder and sentenced to 62 years in prison.
No. Are you serious?
Yeah.
How old is he at this point? It's a life sentence.
Oh, yes. Very much. In his 50s, early 50s. Life sentence for sure.
Oh.
Which I get he did kill, but he was very much pushed to, very vulnerable to that stuff. And I just don't, obviously a guilty sentence, but I mean, a guilty verdict, but I could not have done a 62-year sentence. I think that's way too long for what he did, what he went through.
Yeah.
Sorry. I know I mean, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm
No,
just,
the
you can,
answer is
and
never to
watching the
murder.
trial, watching and listening to the trial, it's really hard to not, he's just so,
Does his ex-wife or any of his daughters like testify on his behalf? Are they character witnesses being like, no, he's like,
no.
oh no.
Not that I know of, because he talks about a lot in the trial, because I didn't obviously sit and watch 4 days of it, but I watched a bulk of it, big highlights. And he talks about how he's disappointed all of them. So no, I think they kind of wrote it off. And he was very scrutinized for falling for it. Like I didn't go through all the emails and texts from Jamie and Rob.
But
It
he's
is like,
seen the
you
worst of the worst in the
didn't
world. Like
figure it out.
probably, I don't know, but he doesn't doubt his high school sweetheart who was his soulmate, and he's seen the worst of the worst. He knows that evil is out there. He's probably like, yeah, I believe it. I mean, an abusive husband who a woman is scared to leave, that's not that unbelievable.
Yeah. He also breaks down in trial and says that he made a promise to himself that if he could save someone, he would, because on one of his deployments to Iraq, his granddaughter drowned and his daughter called him sobbing, being like, why weren't you here? Why
Nuh-uh.
aren't you here? And it riddled him with guilt because he couldn't save her. And then shortly thereafter, his best friend committed suicide. And he was like, I couldn't save them either. So he said if there's ever anything in his power he could do, he
Oh
would
my
do it.
God. I've never
He's
felt more
very
guilty for
likable.
a guy who killed. That is, why was his daughter, why'd she say, why weren't you here?
Like, I think in grief, like, she was just losing her shit.
Yeah,
Not,
yeah,
like, to make him feel bad, but she was like,
yeah.
"If I think she said, like, "If anyone could have saved her, it was you," like, because he was a badass
Yeah,
Green
he's
Beret.
badass. Oh my God, that is awful. The only thing he's guilty of is talking about his hot cum.
Ugh, gross. So that's the story of that batshit psycho Jennifer Faith and the murder of poor Jamie. I'm telling you, I'm gonna post a few hours after this episode is released because you'll be able to see it right through it when I post a
Yeah.
picture of him. He's like nerdy, like with his dog. Like he is
Oh,
sweet.
and the
Not
motive
that
being what?
monsters can look at like anything, but
Oh, sure, sure. But the motive being, I don't want to go through a divorce. I want that insurance money.
yeah, her second husband, Jamie was her third husband. She wanted the insurance between his life insurance and 401k. She was going to get well over $1 million. Her second husband came forward and said that she did the same thing to him. I couldn't validate this, but 48 Hours is the only place that said that, and I trust them, so I'm going to throw it out there.
Wait, say it again.
Her second husband came forward and said she did the same thing to him about her first husband. She would tell him that her first husband was abusive, horrible, sexually abused her, physically abused her, all the same shit. He would threaten to go to the cops, but that was Amber's biological dad. So she was like, absolutely not. And then he just started looking into it and like just found he was like, there's no way this is true. I can't remember how. He didn't say how. He actually
Yeah.
found proof that it was all bullshit. But he said she was very much planting the seed of like, I wish he was just dead. I wish someone would kill him. Like, and he just was like, no.
No. Oh, so
So
she found the perfect
she
vulnerable
found
man to do it.
yes, she found the
And
exact
he
man.
happened to reach out to her on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy. She really saw an opportunity.
It's batshit.
That shit.
Now I'm gonna do Patreon shout outs. Hey, Abigail, Natalie, Keely, Presley, Jen, Carissa, and Jesse. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks everyone. Y'all are the best.
People are the worst. Goodbye.